Hi, I'm Alicia Romero, and I'm doing a reflection on culture and how leadership style can affect culture for the organizational behavior module. Um, and I'm going to say too that how the new learnings that I gain in this module make me change the view of these experiences that I had. And I'm going to explain. In my job of more than 16 years, I do work in a multinational division structure company, global, yes, across the globe, and the divisions are mostly family of products. And in that company, we produce medical devices that most of them go inside the human body. So it's highly regulated, very process center, and is because it's a very big company, has many layers of management, so it is somehow role center and vertically structured as a context, but also as a very important detail that could come handy later on in my explanation. Is the CEO of the company is in a different country. He's only in the company for a couple of years. The CEOs usually last in the company less than 5 years, and everyone that arrives is the best of the best, they tell us. The last one that is now in charge is he arrived like 2 years ago or so, and after 1 year he increased his yearly bonus on 13 million. 13 million was the increase of his bonus, not the full bonus. I have to say I should not give many really specific details, because everything in this company is bound by confidentiality clauses, including like structure, processes, products, anything. So I try to explain what I need to explain without breaching all these rules. So that is the CEO, the head of the company. But then, because it's a division structure, we have a division head, I say, and I say head because I could compare between the person in charge now of this division and the person that was there before. Around 4 years or so ago is when the change happened. The previous person was there, and he was a salesperson. He started in the company as a salesperson, as a commercial inclined person, and he was very much a people person. He would come to every meeting with us in the plant. He would fly around, but he would come back to he'll attend all these rituals that the company has, of the ceremony awards and all these things, and he'll be in the heart of it. He'll be very much a people-oriented person. This new person that came after, the new head of the division that came after that, this socialite, more social person, just retired, is an engineer that worked in the company for many years, and then he raised to the top of the division, and by replacing the previous one. And we, in the floor, because I do work in the floor, we notice the change, and I'm going to explain now the shift in leadership just change the culture in the floor. I have to say, for context too, that the floor workers, which I do work in the product making, we do have our salary frozen since 2014. But then we heard a year or so ago about the CEO, so that it's important to keep it in mind. Because when this new engineer, but now in the role of the head of the division, just came to be in charge, he did not defrost our salary, but he decided that he was putting a system in place that would be a system dependent on production targets and quality targets. Before that, I'm going to describe you more or less what my company looks like. If you were coming as a visitor, you have some common areas that you could visit, and you would see those walls with patient statements, just saying how good the product is and how much they have gotten help from just using the products that we produce, and how thankful they are of having had someone like us is producing whatever. So it was a lot of statements and comments, and then some operators photos, and just a lot of people portraying on the corridors, and that was, since I started working over there more than 16 years ago, that was the way. Inside, in the production floor, with the previous division leader, we had pretty much the same, and the motivational phrases, posters hanging, and motivational phrases like we save the life alive every 3 seconds and things like that. Since this new head of division arrived, we have inside in the working floor, which is a very controlled space because it's a clean room, everything, we are all covered, and the air is controlled, the quality of the air, the temperature, the humidity, everything. We're full covered and equipped, but you arrive inside and then you see charts and production charts, numbers, graphs, graphics. You see core values, printed core values with the espoused values of the company, the stated values of the company, which are quality, openness, well, instead of openness, what is exactly the value is candor, continuous improvement, reliability, accountability, all these things. And those are physically printed and visible there with policies, printed policies, okay, privacy policies, quality policies, and there on display. And that's what we can see. Those are the artifacts that actually display the culture of the company. But that is just the stated values of the company, right? Because of the bonus system that this new head of division applied a couple of years ago, that the production targets have to be met to get the bonus, which is a quarterly bonus, and it's tied to those two things, production and quality. And less than 3 quality reports have to be generated. A quality report is generated when something is a deviation of the process, or some measurements are just outside parameters, or any quality issue is called an NCMR, which is a non-conforming material report. And if we generate more than 3, I'm talking about the full plant, is thousands of workers, more than 3 in total for the quarter, then the bonus is gone. I have to say those processes that we have to adhere to and apply while building the product are processes that they are designing by engineers while they are designing the product, developing the product, because that process, not only the product, but the process itself has to be approved by agencies, national agencies, health national agencies, that give the approval for, or the okay for the product to go to the market. And once that is approved, and then the production moves to the floor, there is no moving of the process. That process, we have to adhere to it, and there is no deviation. So some things, even if minor, they're not being accounted for because the engineers that they plan that, they have different equipment in their lab when they're developing the product, and different team structure than when they move the production to the floor. So sometimes there is some deviation, but since that bonus system was put in place, we tremendously improving quality, because we do not report things anymore. We fix still the same little thing, because maybe it's just something that some of the testing equipment has something that pops out, and you know that it pops out after 5 testing, so you put it back, something like that. In theory, I'm just saying that that's a fake example, because I cannot give you a specific example. Things happen, and operators, we fix it without reporting, and then we keep the plant going and the production going. Therefore, at the end of the trimester, we're going to get our bonus. The full plant would get the bonus, because remember, it's the full plant floor workers bonus at stake. What happened is that the management read that as, we're doing so great, all these qualities. When we remind the people about the policies, the quality policies, it works, it motivates them to do better. And they concluded that what they're doing is working for the quality, for an improvement in quality, and they want to export the system that they're applying to other plants, other divisions, and that I now know. I thought before they were idiots, but I now know that it's like a mental mechanism, and the attribution theory explains that self-serving bias, that actually when something goes well, they attribute it to their own behavior, to what they did, and the other side of that attribution theory would be like the survey, the yearly survey that they conduct every year, and they ask us for feedback, but it's supposed to be anonymous. When they actually don't get the answer they want, they isolate the team where the undesired outcome answer came from, and they retrain that team in the vocabulary of the questioning that they are not happy with. Instead of listening to what it was said, they actually tell the people what they did not understand. And that makes me think that, that's meaning that they are attributing the undesired outcome to external factors. So it's not something that they did badly. It's something that someone didn't understand, someone did badly. What happened with that is that I do understand that much better, and I don't know what the recommendations would be about, because one of the core values of the company is candor, but then it makes me think that we do not, with this new head of division, we do not have real leadership, we have management, because I learned in the module that all this new culture that happened in the new norms that actually shape the culture in the floor, based on just protecting workers, protecting themselves, it's just I put a name on it with this the learnings of this module. I just put a name on it. I think I can organize it better in my head, because before that I was like discarding all these people working above in the office. They're just idiots, and I just learned that they're just blindsided. This is a different perspective. They don't perceive it. They just cannot see it. It's completely a blind spot. And therefore, I don't know if any of the recommendations I could give, they would permeate. But I suppose the first thing that should happen is the communication channel has to be reopened with some transparency there, because and transparency and safety. Because without safety, people do not report. So if I know that I'm going to lose my financial security, like to my bonus, I'm not going to report quality issues. I'm going to fix it, but I'm not going to report it. And if then for everything that is perceived as an improvement, you think is yours, and everything that is perceived as a on the side outcome is perceived as mine, there is like, what's the point? What's the point? What's the point? Because I don't really know. One very important thing should be, as a recommendation, should be detach the incentives from the quality outcome, from quality reporting, and maybe close the gap between people planning and people making. Maybe somehow it has to be much more closer for the deviation or for the gap to be closed. So then is much more understanding of what both sides need from each other. And thank you, Daria. That's all.